Yes, sir.
Male reproductive system.
Yes, sir, we completed it.
The function of a chromosome. Yes. So yeah, we were on this topic. You have written this one up to here. Have you drawn this one? We started the female reproductive system, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in females, as we know that there are some primary oocytes are present. Okay. And these are the immature cells that are present in the ovaries that we have discussed. And when a girl get mature or she attain an age of puberty, and age of puberty means that age when a girl is capable of reproducing. Okay, so we called it puberty, the age of puberty. Okay, so if I talk about this one, that this is the primary oocytes. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so this is the primary oocytes here, and one of the primary oocytes start maturating. Okay, and when it start maturating, it forms a cover over it. Okay, we called it Graafian follicle. Okay, what we called it? Graafian follicle. Here it is, Graafian follicle. So we called it Graafian follicle, and inside the Graafian follicle, the ovum is present. So when the day it start maturating, on the 8th or 10th day of maturation, when it start maturating, this Graafian follicle ruptures and the ovum is released into the ovary. From here, it get released into the ovary. Okay, it get released into the ovary. Okay, and this step is called ovulation. What we called it? Ovulation. After some times, means when this ruptured follicle becomes a special endocrine gland, we called it corpus luteum. That secrete progesterone hormone. That secrete progesterone hormone. Okay, understood? Understood, everyone? That these are the primary oocytes. So have you drawn this one? Tell me, check whether have you drawn this one?
Drawn.
Okay, now let's move further. So have you written this one? Ovaries, these are the almond shape. No, you have not written this one, I'm sure. Only diagrams were there. Okay, so what this is being written about the ovary, that ovaries are the almond shape. Almond means these are like the almond. Okay, shaped glandular structure. Glandular, why glandular? Because it has capability to secrete something, right? It secrete progesterone hormone, is secrete estrogen. Okay, which are placed in the pelvic cavity. Pelvic cavity is the cavity that is present inside the body. Okay, near the abdomen. So we can say that pelvic cavity. Okay, and each side of the uterus. Okay, these ovaries are present on each side of the uterus. So uterus is this one. This is the uterus, and here these ovaries are present. Okay, understood? Understood? After puberty, at each menstrual cycle, one of the primary oocytes begins to mature and develop to form a Graafian follicle. Means one of the primary oocytes which was there, that was present since childbirth. Okay, that was present since childbirth. One of the primary oocytes start maturating at the first menstrual cycle. Okay, or we can say that this is an indication of the start of the menstrual cycle. Okay, so if the menstrual cycle gets started, so what does it means? It simply means that the girl is mature and she has capability to reproduce. So we can simply say that the start of menstrual cycle is actually indicating the activation of the reproductive organ, or we can say that it is done at the age of puberty, and when on the first menstrual cycle, which is also called menarche. Okay, on the first menstrual cycle, one of the primary oocytes start maturating and develop to form a Graafian follicle. The Graafian follicle contains haploid ovum. Okay, haploid ovum. So one of the primary oocytes was their cells, and it start maturating. So it start maturating and form a Graafian follicle, and inside the Graafian follicle is the ovum present. Okay, so when ovum, which is released from the ovary on the 14th day Why I'm saying 14th day here? Why before I'm saying the 10th and the 10th day or the 8th day? Why I'm saying this one? Let me explain you there. But on if I ask that how much time will it take for a Graafian follicle or for complete ovulation for the release of ovum? So it take only 8 to 10 days for complete maturation or release of ovum. But if we start counting from the menstrual cycle, that on which date of menstrual cycle the ovum is released, that is the 14th day. And how it is, we will discuss it later when we will study menstrual cycle. Okay, the Graafian follicle contain haploid ovum which is released from the ovary on the 14th day of the menstrual cycle, and this release is called ovulation. So please note it down. Note it down. When you're done, please let me know. Okay. Done.
Done, sir.
Is there anyone who's still writing? Shweb, done. Saima, Shweta, done.
No, sir.
Done, sir.
Done.
Yes.
Okay. Should I move forward? Now, if I talk about that after ovulation, what happens when the ovum is released from the ovary? So this is ovum, which is being released from the ovary, and this release of ovum is called ovulation. And this ovulation this ovum wait for the sperm. It comes and fertilize this egg. Okay. So it waits for the sperms to come and fertilize it. Okay. If it comes, then zygote will be formed. And if it does not come, then the several changes happens that we're going to study here. So let's start studying. So after ovulation, the ruptured Graafian follicle form an important. So you know that we are talking about this ruptured Graafian follicle from which ovum is released. So this ruptured Graafian follicle from which ovum is released becomes an important endocrine gland. We call it as corpus luteum. Okay, which secrete important progesterone hormone. Okay, and if there is no fertilization, if there is no fertilization, then corpus luteum disintegrate or degenerate on the 28th day of the menstrual cycle. So it wait. The ovum wait for the sperm to come. Okay, and if the fertilization occurs, then zygote will be formed. And if the fertilization does not occurs, then this corpus luteum, which was secreting progesterone, this will disintegrate. Okay. So what happened on the evolution, on when the evolution take place, ovulation take place, then at the time of ovulation, the ovum is being released, and this Graafian follicle form an important hormone or important gland. We called it corpus luteum, which secrete progesterone hormones in females. Okay, so in females, ovary secrete two types of hormones. One is estrogen, and second one is progesterone. Progesterone is secreted by this corpus luteum, that is formed by ruptured Graafian follicle. And if the fertilization occurs, then this progesterone hormones will remain continue. And if fertilization does not occur, means if this ovum does not meet with the sperm, then this will disintegrate and the new cell, a new cycle will start. Okay, so on the 14th day, it it get disintegrated. Okay, and it wait for about 7 to 8 it means up to 28th day. This ovum wait for the sperm to come. If it does not come, then it will be released into the means it will be released out or disintegrated or removed from the body. Okay, from this fallopian tube. So talking about this one, that after the ovulation, ruptured Graafian follicle converts into which type of gland? Tell me. Graafian follicle ruptured into an endocrine gland called corpus luteum, which secrete progesterone hormone. And if there is no fertilization, then corpus luteum degenerates, and on 28th day of menstrual cycle, means it will disintegrate, or you can write degenerate. Okay, note it down.
Noted, sir.
Other noted?
No, sir.
Is noted. Done. Shweb,
Yes, sir.
done. Noted.
Yes, sir.
Shweta,
Yes.
noted.
Done, sir.
And Saima, you also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now moving to the next part here is menstrual cycle in females. Okay, so in human females there is a monthly discharge of blood. Okay, and this or we can say that discharge of blood as well as cell debris, cell waste. Okay, through the vagina, we call it menstrual cycle. And this, when the first menstrual cycle occurs, we call it menarche, and it occurs at the age of puberty, which is 10 to 13 years in. Okay, 10 to 13 years. And last menstrual cycle means when there is no discharge of blood will take place. We called it, that age is 45 to 50 years. Okay, so please note this one also. Then we're going to explain different parts.
Done, sir.
Okay. Others done?
No, sir.
Noted.
Done, sir.
So what is the first menstrual cycle is called? First menstrual cycle is called? Tell me.
Menarche.
And the last?
Menopause.
Menopause.
Okay. Now, actually, this fallopian tubes, when the ovum is there, okay, so this fallopian tube is going to wait for the sperm to come, okay, and if the what I'm going to make a rough diagram. Okay. Yeah. So actually, this is the uterine. So here the fallopian tube, inside the fallopian tube, the ovum waits. Okay. And if the sperms comes, then this is when it fuses with the sperm. Then in that case, they will fertilize together, okay, and result in the formation of zygote. And when the zygote is formed by fusion of male and female gametophyte, then it will start dividing. Okay, and it start dividing and form a big mass of cell. We called it morula. Okay, so when this big mass of cell is being formed, then this big mass of cell need to be transferred into the uterus. Okay, so for the transformation of this big mass of cell into the uterus must prepare itself. Uterus prepare itself, or it generate new wall, it secrete large amount of mucus. Okay, so it prepare the walls and the uterine wall. Okay, and if this for this implantation that this blastomere will comes, and if the further developmental process will starts. Okay, but actually if the fertilization does not occurs, no sperms comes in the contact with this ovum, and what is going to happen, this ovum will not fertilize, and no blastomeres or morula will form, no big mass of cell will form, no implantation will take place. Then these walls that was generated inside the uterus for the process of implantation, for the process of transformation of this group of cells or mass of cells into the uterine wall, so it prepare itself. But actually this does not happen. The blastomere, or we can say morula, or the big mass of cell does not form because there was no fertilization. So these walls start rupturing. And a large amount of mucus, this walls start degenerating, and large amount of mucus and the blood and the cell waste, okay, comes out of the body, and this is called menstrual. We can say that this is called the bleeding phase of the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle involves 3 steps. One is the bleeding phase. The second one is the proliferative phase. And the third phase is called secretory phase. Okay, so from the first day, we can say that the first day of menstrual cycle is actually called the bleeding phase. It is start the first day when the bleeding start. This is called actually the first day of the menstrual cycle. Okay, so when the bleeding start, this phase is called the first day of menstrual cycle. Okay, and it remains continue for 5 to 6 days. Okay, when it stops, okay, 4 to 5 days, or means the mainly bleeding start from 4 to 5 days. So on the 6th day or the 5th day, this bleeding stops and the new phase starts, that is called proliferative phase. Okay, the first day of menstrual cycle is called the bleeding phase, and it continues for 5 to 6 days. Okay, And the second phase, and what happens in the second phase? The second phase starts one of the primary oocytes that was in the ovary. This was in the ovary that we have studied, that we're discussing. One of the primary oocytes start again maturating. Okay, one of the primary oocytes, and inside into a Graafian follicle, and inside the Graafian follicle is ovum, and this start rupturing. Okay, on the 14th day, this ovum is released. The ovulation takes place. Okay, that we were discussing. So on the 14th day, means 4 days, okay, of bleeding, and we are just talking about the from the first day of the bleeding phase. So when the first day started of the bleeding, we called it first day of menstrual cycle. Then from the first day till 4th day or 5th day, the bleeding starts and stops. Okay, and from the 5th day or the 6th day till 14th day, means next 10 days, approximately next 9 to 10 days, these ovum is being released, means the primary oocyte start maturating and ovum is released. That's why I'm saying that it take 8 to 10 days for a primary oocytes to convert and release into the ovum, okay, to get mature, fully mature. So this primary oocyte start maturating on the take only 8 to 10 days to fully get mature, and the ovum is released. But if we start from the beginning, 8 days plus 4 days of bleeding, 10 days or 4 days of bleeding, so it will total mark as 14th day of the menstrual cycle. So that's why we wrote there 14th day of the menstrual cycle, ovum is being released. So, and what happened in this additional 10 days after the bleeding stop, till then this uterine wall which was ruptured, they start healing. They start healing, and the uterine wall again get back to their original conditions. They are healed up. Okay, and we will simply say that this will end the proliferative phase. So proliferative phase actually is of 10 days, but actually to start from the 5th day of menstrual cycle till ovulation, which is 14th day. So 5th to 14th day means approximately 10 days. Understood? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now, again, after the ovum is being released, we have also discussed, then ovum is being, now again the ovum come. So it will start waiting for the sperm to come and fertilize it. Till then, again, the uterine wall again prepare itself till the evolution, whether the ovum come, it will fuse. So this uterine wall, this again preparing itself for the process of implantation. They start. So in the secretory phase, the uterine wall prepare itself for the implantations, because the ovum has been released after the proliferative phase, and the ovum has been released, secretory phase starts. So again, this uterine wall, because this was healed up in the proliferative phase, now these are okay. So these are capable of reproducing or of producing mucus, new walls. So they start. Till then, the whole secretory phase, uterus secrete large amount of mucus. It makes new blood vessels, new walls. Okay, new wall, and uterine wall is developed, so that the implantation will take place again. But okay. So if the fertilization occurs, means if this ovum come in the contact with the sperm and it get fused and it get fertilized, then the whole gestation period, whole pregnancy period, this we can simply say that this secretory phase remain continue till ninth next month, till next 9th month. Okay, so this secretory phase remain continue if the fertilization occurs. But if the fertilization does not occurs, then on the 28th day, means from the 14th, it ends on the 14th day because the ovulation come. Now from the 15th to 28th day, the actually uterus is waiting for the implantation, that some of the uterus will, some of the sperm has fuses this one, now this will transfer to this. So it waits for the implantation, but till 28th day of the first bleeding, means when the first day of bleeding starts, till the 28th day, we are just counting from that one. Okay, so till the 28th day of that first menstrual cycle, it was waiting. Okay, so waiting. If the fertilization does not occurs, then what would happen? again these uterine wall will rupture and the bleeding phase will start again. Okay, so this is a process that will continue till 45 to 50, 55, 50 years age in the girls. If the fertilization occurs, then this secretory phase remain continued throughout the 9 months. Thus uterus secrete large amount of mucus, okay, and secrete large amount of vehicle synthesis, new uterine walls and whatever being required for the developing of fetus. The uterus remains secretive. But if the fertilization does not occur, then this secretory phase ends on the 28th day of the menstrual cycle, and again the bleeding phase starts. Okay, understood? Understood?
Yes, sir.
So here it is being written. Where it is? So here it is being written that the bleeding phase, okay, means the menstrual cycle 28th day long cycle. It's involved 3 steps. First is bleeding phase. It occurs on the 4th to 5th day. It occurs 4 to 5 days. It involves the discharge of blood and cell debris through the vagina. This is the first day of menstrual cycle. The second is proliferative phase. By the 5th day, when the bleeding stops and the ovaries start forming a fresh Graafian follicle, means that was present in the primary oocyte. One of the primary oocytes start maturating, and fresh Graafian follicle is formed, which is having ovum inside it. Okay, so Graafian follicle. Meanwhile, and in that time when the Graafian follicle was developed in the ovary, the uterine wall which was ruptured in the bleeding phase was healing. So meanwhile, the wall of uterine go many changes, and this phase continue till ovulation. Okay, next is secretory phase, the last phase. Secretory phase start from the 14th day after the ovulation. Ovulation ends at 14th day. So from the 14th to 20th day is called secretory phase, as it involves the excessive secretion of mucus from the wall of uterus. If the fertilization does not occur, the inner wall of the uterus degenerate, or we can say of uterus, wall of uterus on 28th day degenerate, or uterus degenerate, which is start the bleeding phase again. Okay, so please note it down. Note it down.
Done, sir.
Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute, sir.
Next, if the fertilization occurs, then what is happened? If the fertilization occurs, then this secretory phase will continue till the gestation period. We call it that pregnancy period. Okay. So if the fertilization occurs, then this phase is secretory phase. Okay. Secretory phase. Continue till gestation period. Therefore, there is no menstrual cycle during pregnancy. Done?
Done, sir.
Okay, next is uterus. So if I talk about that, it is a thick muscular pear-shaped, this is a pear-shaped organ, okay, that we were discussing there, here. So it is a pear-shaped organ that is we called it uterus. So it is thick muscular pear-shaped organ located in the pelvis region, pelvic cavity, okay. The ovaries are present in the pelvic cavity, the uterus are along these ovaries, surrounded by the ovary, or we can say that. So, and its outer wall is called outer wall is called myometrium, and the inner wall is called endometrium. So sometimes it is being asked that uterus, the name of the wall being asked that what is the name for the outer wall, what is the name for the inner wall. The outer wall is called the myometrium, inner wall is called the endometrium. Okay, and here uterus communicate below the vagina through a neck like a structure called cervix. Okay, so this is through a neck like structure called cervix. So here it is. So here this is the uterus. If we make it like this, pear-shaped organ, which is double layer. Okay, and it has two walls like this. The outer wall is called myometrium, and the inner wall is called endometrium. Okay, and this structures communicate through a neck-like structure. This is uterus. This hole is uterus actually. This hole is uterus. Okay. So this communicate through a neck-like structure through vagina. Okay. And we called it cervix. So here is the cervical caps, cervix, and this is called cervix. Okay, so it is a neck-like structures. We called it cervix. So that was written there in the notes. So, and the main function of uterus is to carry out the development of embryo. So please note it down. Done? Next. Next is fallopian tube. This is the fallopian tube.
To the previous
Yeah.
slide.
Okay. Done?
Done, sir.
Is there anyone still writing? Okay, next is fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes, other name for fallopian tube is oviduct. Okay, and it is about 10 centimeter long tube. Okay, which has its end attached with the ovary. One end is attached with the ovary. Okay, this finger-like position is called fimbriae, and this is called ampulla, where it is this portion where finger-like position is going to be arise. This is called ampulla. Okay, so and here it is the site of fertilization. Mean the site of means the ovum is being released from the ovary and it reaches here, and then it waits for the sperm to come and fertilize. So fertilizations only take place at in the fallopian tube or oviduct. So this is the very important question being asked, that what is the site of fertilization? The main function of fallopian tube is to provide the process of fertilization. Okay, so it is a site of fertilization. Okay, next is ovum. Ovum is just like this structure. This is the female ovum, that like we have studied the sperm. So similarly is the ovum. So ovum is actually uh, membranous structures, which is not going to have means it is alicethal. Alicethal means it does not contain yolk. Yeah, like the hen egg contain yolk. In female ovum, it does not contain yolk. The female egg or gametophyte, we can simply say that, okay, it is haploid. It is haploid, means it is going to have half number of chromosomes. It has some spikes coming out from it, and we called it corona radiata. The layer of this main layer of this ovum is called zona pellucida. Okay, so this is the main layer, and inside it there's a fluid-like structure present, and the haploid nucleus is there. So please note it down, this about the fallopian tube and ovum and the outer layer. Please note, make the proper diagram also and their representation. So many times it has been asked in the examinations. Means it means a diagram will be given to you, and 1 2 3 number will be written, and they will be asking that what is the number one position, means which part of this, means labeling may be asking in simple word. Okay, so please note it down. Done?
Yes, sir.
Drawn this one. Abir, done?
Yes, sir. Done.
Shweb, Shweta, Shweb, done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now moving to the next part is fertilizations. So next is fertilization. So when ovum comes in the contact with the male gametophyte, okay, then it is going to have some acrosome here, okay, and that help in the fertilization. And how does it help? The fusion of male and female gametophyte resulting in the formation of zygote is called in the fallopian tube is called fertilization. Okay, fusion of male and female gamete uh, to form a zygote, a diploid zygote. So we called it fertilization. And how does fertilization occurs? Where does it occurs? It occurs in the fallopian tube. And how does it occurs? I've told you that acrosomes enzymes that is called lysin that we have studied there. Where we have studied? We have studied here. So this is acrosome. This is the sperm. It is going to have in the head region. It is going to have a pack of digestive enzymes. We called it lysin. Here, acrosomes enzyme name is lysin. This lysin is going to disintegrate the wall when it gets fused with the wall of ovum. Then it disintegrate the wall of ovum. It will disintegrate the wall of ovum and the it make help means and help in the fusion of sperm with the nucleus of ovum. Okay, so acrosome enzymes help in making the entry possible with the wall of ovum. Means it disintegrate acrosome when fused with the wall of ovum, then it disintegrate the ovum. And okay, so the fertilization and pregnancy are marked by the absence of menstrual cycle. So please note it down. If the fertilization occurs, it means that there will be no more menstrual cycle. Okay, note it down. Where does fertilization occurs? Tell me.
Fallopian tube.
Yes. And what's the function of acrosome? What is the function of acrosome?
Helps in the entry of
Ovum. It helps in disintegrating the ball of ovum during the time of fertilization. Okay.
yes.
So have you noted this one? Noted?
Yes, I noted.
So next point here is function of acrosome may be asked. Next is embryonic development. So what happens when the embryonic development occurs? If the fertilization occurs, then it results in the further formation of embryonic development. So during embryonic development, the male and female gametophyte fuse together and they form a diploid zygote, which is going to have 2n number of chromosomes. And this diploid zygote by mitotic divisions. Mitotic means this means first the cell copied genetic material, then it gets divided into two halves. Okay. it get divided into two halves. So this is called mitosis. Two into two, and mean diploid to diploid. So when the first zygote is formed, now it is start dividing and form a big mass of cell. We called it morula. And this morula become a big mass of cell in the fallopian tube. Okay. Now this we have studied that the till then uterus was preparing for the implantation. So the fertilization occurs, then implantation will be there. So it occurs on the fifth to sixth day, sixth to seventh day of the fertilization. So when the fertilization occurs, then it start dividing, and it takes 6 to 7 days to become a big mass of cell. And now this big mass of cell is being transferred to the uterus. Okay, so after fertilization, the zygote immediately start dividing by mitosis, resulting in the formation of solid mass of cell called morula. Okay, and this morula after 6 to 7 days transferred to the uterus, which is called implantation. Implantation means transfer of big mass of cell, which is called morula, into the uterus, into the uterine wall, into the uterus. Okay, where it get attached with the tissue when called placenta. So we will write here that after the fertilization, zygote immediately start dividing by mitosis. By which process? Mitosis, resulting in the formation of solid mass of cell called morula. We called it morula. Morula after 6 to 7th day transferred to the uterus. This is called implantation. Okay, understood? And after implantation, a tissue is developed between the embryo and the wall of uterus. A tissue is developed, or a cord is developed between the developing embryo and the uterus, which is called placenta. So please note it down. Note it down. Done?
Yes. Done, sir.
Then, so that's all for today. We'll meet you in the next class. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Those who have done, can